A group of tourists visits the Egyptian pyramids, but a young boy accidentally breaks through a security fence and climbs onto a bridge under construction. Despite the guards' efforts to stop him, he falls from the bridge and into a pyramid. Luckily, the pyramid turns out to be an inflatable balloon, and the boy bounces safely back into his parents' arms. Though unhurt, the bizarre incident makes global news, and authorities begin to suspect that a villain has stolen the real pyramid. Gru, the famous villain, starts his day with coffee and playful mischief. At home, he's interrupted by 3 orphan girls, Margot, Edith, and Agnes, selling cookies, but he dismisses them, wanting peace and quiet. Gru gets a call from Dr. Nefario about the stolen pyramid in Egypt. Jealous that another villain has outdone him, Gru decides to come up with an even more impressive evil plan. To steal the moon, Gru needs a shrink ray from a secret lab and a rocket. The minions are thrilled, but first, Gru must visit the bank to get a loan for the rocket.
We are going to steal the moon!
In this video, I first talk about this movie, and at the end I share my opinion and review about it. My goal is offering valuable insight into this movie. So, spoilers ahead. The 3 orphan girls return to the orphanage feeling down after failing to meet their cookie sales quota. Miss Hattie, the orphanage owner, scolds them and warns that if their sales don't improve, they'll have to spend a night in the box of shame. The next morning, Gru goes to a bank for a loan, but after an identity scan in the restroom, he gains access to the secret Bank of Evil, which funds supervillains' plans. Gru is confident his loan will be approved despite past losses. While waiting, he recalls his childhood when he dreamed of going to the moon, but his strict mother discouraged him.
Mom, someday I'm going to go to the moon. NASA isn't sending the monkeys anymore.
After his sad memory, a man named Vector approaches Gru, but Gru ignores him and heads to the manager's office. Gru tells the manager about his plan to steal the moon and requests a loan, but the manager dismisses him as an outdated villain and favors younger villains like Vector, who surprisingly committed the pyramid robbery. The manager tells Gru he must first obtain a shrink ray to get the loan. Dejected, Gru leaves the bank but vents his anger by freezing Vector's face with a freeze ray when they meet again. Gru's plan to steal the shrink ray begins when a minion emerges from a drill in the lab, captures the ray, and brings it to Gru. However, moments later, another drill appears at Gru's ship, and a mechanical arm steals the ray away. The thief is Vector, angry about Gru freezing his face. He steals the shrink ray and escapes, but Gru pursues him in a high-speed chase. Gru and Vector race at sonic speed as Gru fires many torpedoes, but Vector cleverly destroys them with rear cannon shots before they hit. Gru keeps chasing Vector and aims to fire, but Vector uses the shrink ray on Gru, causing his ship to shrink rapidly. Gru and the minions escape just in time, but their ship is now tiny, forcing them to retreat. Despite his defeat, Gru tries to break into Vector's mansion the next morning using gadgets, but is overwhelmed by the mansion's advanced security and gets attacked and injured. Though injured, Gru survives and begins planning to recover the shrink ray. When Margot, Edith, and Agnes arrive selling cookies and are allowed in by Vector, Gru gets a new idea. Gru visits the orphanage where the sisters live, and with the minions' help, creates a fake profile to have Miss Hattie adopt them. She agrees, and the sisters are thrilled to be adopted. The sisters' excitement fades when they meet their new father, and it worsens when they see their new home, which resembles a supervillain's lair. If you enjoyed the heartwarming journey of Gru and the girls, don't forget to like the video. Your support helps more people discover this fun and emotional story. Inside the home, the girls face traps, dangerous chemicals, and Gru's clumsy dog Kyle. Gru then sets rules and designates spots for them to sleep, eat, and use the bathroom. After explaining everything, Gru leaves the girls at home and visits Dr. Nefario, who reveals biscuit-shaped spy robots designed to help Gru break into Vector's mansion and recover the shrink ray. While exploring the house, Agnes tries to watch TV, but, reaching for the remote, accidentally presses a hidden button that reveals an elevator to Gru's secret lab. In the lab, Gru warns the girls to behave, but Edith accidentally fires a laser beam, destroying Agnes's stuffed unicorn. Agnes is heartbroken and begs Gru for a new stuffed unicorn. When he refuses, she threatens to hold her breath, so Gru sends the minions to buy her a unicorn toy. The minions disguise themselves as a cheerful family to buy the toy, but quickly lose the act and cause chaos in the market. Later, the sisters cause more chaos in Gru's living room. Annoyed, Gru tells them to go to sleep, and though reluctant, they obey. After Gru turns off the lights, the minions return with Agnes's new toy, making her happy. The next day, Gru begins his plan to break into Vector's mansion by sending the girls to sell cookies containing Dr. Nefario's spy robots inside the boxes. The girls initially refuse to sell cookies because of a ballet rehearsal, so Gru reluctantly agrees to take them. During the ride, Agnes gives Gru an invitation to their ballet recital. After ballet class, Gru and the girls go to Vector's mansion. The girls deliver the cookie boxes containing spy robots, which activate and sneak inside to the vault, using lasers to open a passage to the shrink ray. Gru and the minions enter through the hole, retrieve the shrink ray, but the cookie robots close the passage behind them, trapping them inside. Trapped, Gru and the minions crawl through ventilation ducts and find an exit, but accidentally fall through a weak spot, dangling above Vector's living room where Vector watches TV unaware, while the minions try to stop Gru from falling and being noticed. Gru realizes the living room floor is a giant aquarium housing Vector's pet shark, which notices them and tries to alert Vector by slamming the glass. Vector is confused by the shark's behavior, but doesn't realize Gru is hanging above him with the stolen shrink ray. With the minions' help, Gru and the team quietly escape with the shrink ray. On the way home, the girls spot an amusement park and ask to stop. Gru agrees, seeing the amusement park as a chance to get rid of the girls. At the amusement park, the girls want to ride a roller coaster but need an adult with them, so Gru is forced to join. The ride is intense, leaving him panicked and nauseous. Agnes spots a stuffed unicorn at a shooting gallery and asks Gru to let them play. He agrees, and after several tries, Agnes hits the bullseye, but the stall owner cheats and says they lost. Angry at the cheating, Gru uses his explosive weapon to destroy the booth and win the unicorn for Agnes. The girls are thrilled and start admiring Gru even more. The girls' affection starts to soften Gru's heart, and they all spend a joyful afternoon together at the park. Back home, Dr. Nefario reminds Gru that the deadline to steal the moon is near. Gru calls the bank manager, shows he has the shrink ray, and presents his full plan to shrink and steal the moon using a rocket. The manager is impressed but rejects Gru, calling him too old and outdated. Instead, the bank chooses to fund the moon theft for a younger, more talented villain. Devastated by the rejection, Gru gives up until the girls offer their piggy bank savings to help. Touched, the minions also step in to support him. Reinvigorated, Gru starts building his rocket and gradually becomes a more loving and present father. The bank manager secretly contacts Vector, his son, and angrily scolds him for losing the shrink ray. Determined to prove himself, Vector vows to reclaim it. While the bank manager and Vector plot against Gru, Gru embraces his role as a foster father. One night, Agnes asks him to read her favorite cat story. Though reluctant, Gru agrees to help them fall asleep. While reading, Gru realizes the story is about father-child love, sparking a deeper bond with the girls. He quickly suppresses the feeling, calling himself a villain. Then, Dr. Nefario arrives to warn there are only 2 days left to steal the moon. Gru feels conflicted about his moon-stealing plan, especially since it coincides with the girls' ballet recital. However, Dr. Nefario urges him not to give up on his dream of being a supervillain. The next morning, Miss Hattie arrives to take the girls back to the orphanage, following a request from Dr. Nefario, who thinks it's best for Gru's villainous plans. Though heartbroken, Gru lets them go and returns to villainy. Over time, both Gru and the girls deeply miss each other. On the day of the moon heist, the minions complete the rocket, and Gru suits up for launch. A minion offers him a ticket to the girls' ballet recital, but Gru, determined to stay focused, ignores it and blasts off into space. Vector sneaks onto Gru's rocket using a squid gun, but Gru speeds up and throws him off. Gru then reaches the moon and fires the shrink ray, causing strange effects on Earth. Despite this, he persists until he successfully shrinks the moon and holds it in his hands, achieving his goal. In zero gravity, Gru's ballet ticket slips from his pocket. Remembering his promise to Agnes, he checks the time and realizes he can still make the recital. He quickly turns the rocket back toward Earth. Dr. Nefario celebrates the plan's success but notices a minion returning to normal size, warning Gru the moon will too. However, Gru misses the warning as his rocket re-enters Earth's atmosphere and nearly explodes from the pressure.
I don't go to little girls' dance recital.
As the ballet is about to start, Agnes asks the coordinator to delay the show, hoping Gru will arrive. The performance begins, and at that moment, Vector makes an unexpected appearance. Gru rushes to the recital but arrives too late. The janitor says the show is over. Saddened, Gru notices his reserved seat has a note from Vector written on its back. Gru rushes to Vector's house where Vector demands the moon in exchange for the girls. Gru agrees to protect the sisters, but Vector betrays him and launches missiles instead. Despite Vector's betrayal, Gru remains undeterred. He skillfully dodges the missiles, which destroy the mansion's door. As Vector's shark attacks, Gru quickly knocks it out with a single punch. Vector tries to flee in his ship, but Gru catches it mid-air and escapes with it. Shortly after Dr. Nefario and the minions arrive, rescue Gru from hanging onto Vector's ship, and bring him safely aboard. Dr. Nefario warns Gru they must act fast because the shrinking ray's effect will soon wear off. This happens quickly. The moon begins growing inside Vector's ship, endangering both Vector and the girls. Gru fires a hook with a cable into Vector's ship, creating an escape route for the girls. Agnes and Edith jump to Gru and are caught safely, but when Margot jumps, Vector grabs her. However, the growing moon causes Vector's ship to lose control, making Margot slip and dangle from the cable. Gru rushes to save Margot, but the cable breaks and they both fall. Luckily, the minions work together to pull them back to safety. Meanwhile, Vector is not so fortunate. When the moon returns to its normal size and drifts into space, Vector is trapped on it, stranded with no way back to Earth. Gru returns home with the girls, tucks them into bed, and tells them a new bedtime story about how they helped him understand love and family. The girls happily fall asleep, and Gru kisses each of them goodnight before leaving. Gru, having missed the girls' ballet recital, organizes a private performance for them, attended by the minions and his proud mother. When a minion switches the music to a livelier tune, everyone, including Gru, dances happily together. To finish, Gru takes the girls on a rising platform to admire the moon, sharing a joyful family moment. And here is my review. This animation skillfully blends humor, emotional warmth, and thrilling action in a story about Gru, a supervillain whose moon-stealing plans are disrupted when he adopts 3 girls. It balances his villainous schemes with his growth into a loving father, adding depth to both character and plot. The animation excels in character development, showing Gru's believable transformation from selfish villain to loving father, supported by the lively sisters and funny minions. Strong voice acting and comedic timing boost the humor, while emotional moments add warmth. Visually, it's vibrant and dynamic, with exciting chase scenes and imaginative settings that keep the story engaging. The animation thoughtfully explores themes of family, love, and personal growth, adding depth beyond typical comedy. It's a heartfelt and entertaining film that blends humor, excitement, and emotional moments, making it memorable and meaningful for audiences of all ages. Thanks for watching. Please like the video if you like it,